Hello, or good morning. It's really good morning for me. I sometimes wake up very early and can't go back to sleep. So I got up this morning and I was meditating a bit and I was checking the world news on the internet and all of this good stuff. And I realized, hey, it's a peaceful time. We can record the meeting now. And that seemed like a really good idea, especially since unexpected guests are coming today and I don't want to do it when I'm feeling rushed. And I certainly don't feel rushed now at 5:25 in the morning. So a good day or good evening or whatever it is for you when you're watching this. This is the Sunday, August 23rd, 2020 meeting of the Natural Rights Sangha. Online meeting, of course. And we always start with a meditation. So I'd like to ask you to sit straight, relax, and set a timer, because I'm not going to have you sitting here waiting for 10 minutes to go by on the internet for no reason. Okay, I'll start the meditation. You stop the video or tape or whatever we call it these days. And when the beeper goes off, slowly bring yourself back and then turn this back on again. And we normally meditate with just a mindfulness intention of just focusing on the breath and letting thoughts go. Guided meditations and all these other things are something we haven't gotten into yet, although we certainly could. And if you'd like some, let me know. We can certainly put some on this channel. Even if not for everybody, we can certainly put some guided meditations on here. So let me know if you'd like that. And also, guided meditations can have intent. Let me know the intent of what you would like to be delving into or working on during the guided meditation. Okay, but that's for the future. Right now, let's just sit back, sit straight, relax, shut your eyes, begin to focus on the breath. And let's begin. So please start your timer and turn this off. Well, I hope your meditation was a good one and that, uh, well, actually, I hope all things are good for you. But of course, that's never the case, is it? The world being what it is, if we look at it and take it seriously, there's good and bad and terrible and wonderful things every day. One important aspect of life and of everything about being here on this plane, in the duality, in samsara, in Maya, in Leela, is death. We don't really explicitly mention death, I don't think, anywhere in the website, except maybe in the dichotomy life and death. And in this world, much, much, much of what happens is because of this underlying thought of death is coming. The little I is going to be done sometime. And it could happen quickly and all of a sudden, or long and painfully, but hopefully, peacefully, and at an advanced stage after a long, wonderful, full life, full of everything except regret. That happens for a few. It happens for a few. Um, and of course, we all would like that to happen. But look at Nisargadatta. He died of a painful throat cancer. Ramana died of apparently a bone cancer that started in his arm. And oh, if you can imagine the pain of a bone cancer that kills you, that starts in your arm, what he had to go through. And yet he went through nothing, he would say. And Nisargadatta would say there is much pain, but it wasn't, quote, him experiencing it. And so on and so forth. J. Krishnamurti did take painkillers. He took morphine when he had the cancer that killed him, but how do we look at that? In the precepts, we do everything to make our lives excellent. We eat healthily, we exercise, we speak honestly, we stand up for the weak and do what is right. We don't make assumptions. We live without expectations. All of these things and all the rest of them, we don't take anything that's not offered. We endeavor not to harm any living thing. With those precepts, we live darned well compared to, comparison's always dangerous, but compared to much and many of what happened here. But still, death is another thing. I have been around awakened persons when they pass. And I must say, it's very different than being with someone who has not led a life on the spiritual path and gained a perspective on this. It's a very different thing. In my personal life, as things have moved along, I always focus, as the Buddhists do, on the fact that today could be my last day and this could be my last breath. And I'm also aware that I could go decades more, even in my white bearded age. My father's still alive at 95 as I'm speaking. That's pretty good. Most of my uncles lived till their 80s or 90s. And my mom, despite a total lack of exercise and a terrible diet, lived into her 80s. But that means nothing. As one of the spiritual texts said, or one of the spiritual writers said, I should say, he says, if the guiding force, call it what you will, that gave you this life energy decides to take it away in the next breath, it doesn't matter if you're the richest or strongest or fastest or most handsome or whatever person in the whole world, you're done. Next breath, done. Nothing to be done about it. Now, within the precepts, I believe that there's an unspoken, so I'm speaking it now, belief that we should both live for the moment, because that's all there is. This moment is it. The past is gone and the future is a dream, to use the old cliched thing, which is a lot of truth. Okay. But as far as the world goes, to live half and half, to live like, yes, this is the last moment. And yet also to live understanding that maybe I'll make it decades more. Okay, now that's just a practical thing. Because if I thought this was really my last moment, I'd go out and blow all my money, or I could go out and blow all my money and do my bucket list and go around and do all this stuff, and then end up in 6 months with no money left, thinking, "Oh crap, no, I'm bankrupt, and I'll be on the street, and what am I going to do?" Or whatever, right? But again, there's the practical aspect of things, and there's the absolute aspect of things. The natural right Sangha would like each of us to live from the absolute place while acknowledging the practical, rather than live totally in the ephemeral place. And most of us don't live very practically when we're there. But, you know, rather than to focus here and to let this part go. Lately, I've been involved in a sort of debate, looking a lot at what is there for us after. One view is that all that is the so-called great void, which is the absolute, but in a way that we can't comprehend it, and which appears to be full of no objects, no subject, no object, just is. Hard to define because it's a void and there's nothing there. And then another view, which is also supported in the spiritual text, is that there is awareness. Awareness. And this awareness is, as I've mentioned before, the movie screen upon which everything happens or appears to happen. It's like a movie, it appears to happen. One analogy was that if your life was a movie screen 5 miles long, you could see what's happening right now. And you could kind of look back and see a lot of what happened before. But as far as looking forward, the movie screen's really hazy. It's more clear looking back, but even that gets hazy. So you really see it's happening right now. And that's kind of how life works, but that the awareness is the screen itself. And that's where you are when you're in deep sleep. You know, Ramana talked about many great teachers talked about the three states of consciousness, the main states, the deep sleep state, the dreaming state while asleep, and the awake state, which many of them said was a type of dreaming state in itself. Every master has agreed that deep sleep is the closest to what we have when this body's finished. And whether there is a sense of awareness there or a sense of no sense, and I don't mean to say nonsense, no sense there, that is the debate. One friend says very strongly that awareness is necessary to perceive that there is a void. Now, it's an interesting thought. And this same person, who's one of the brightest spiritual people I know, also pointed out that with the concept of the void, what happens with time and space, but time especially, and time and space are only constructs within the reality, within Maya, samsara, lila. Well, if that's the case, well, there's a lot to that, and I'll let it be for now. But I just wanted to mention those subjects. And We can talk more of them if you wish. But please send questions or comments or critiques or whatever to mark@naturalrightsangha.org, and I will respond in some way, either on one of these or to you personally uh, or whatever. And I'd like to mention now, as far as next week goes, I'm going to be with our friend Dave down in California again, out in the boonies at his uh, natural hermitage, I could call it. And I'll do my best to make sure the next Sunday meeting gets uploaded on time. I might have to drive to town to do it because from out there it's very difficult. But if there's any delay of any sort, it's just because of wonderful times in the forest and hopefully not being chased around by forest fires in Northern California. In Maya right now, there's much strangeness going on, and climate change, including forest fires in many places, wildfires they call them now, because it's not always in a big forest, are part of it. Well, hey, well, thank you for having come. And as usual, we'll finish with the 4 agreements. And so please, we'll start with ourselves, and then we'll move to the second part. So please repeat after me. May I have happiness and the causes of happiness. May I be liberated from suffering and the causes of suffering. May I never be separate from the happiness that is free of sorrow. May I reside in equanimity, free of attachment and aversion. Okay, now we're going to say it for we, or we all, if you wish. Okay, it can be we all, it can be your loved ones, your friends, someone special. It can be people you have issues with or even don't like and wish well and wish they would get better. Okay, so we'll do it for we the second time. Okay. May we have happiness and the causes of happiness. May we be liberated from suffering and the causes of suffering. May we never be separate from the happiness that is free of sorrow. May we reside in equanimity, free of attachment and aversion. Okay, well, thank you. Thank you for being here. And again, please contact me with any questions or comments. And if you like this place, please subscribe. It'd be nice to have a few subscribers. There's some now, but it'd be nice to have a few more. So it looks nicer when people look it up. They say this place is worthwhile. Hopefully it is. But hey, thank you for again, and have a great week. Good luck with everything.